Hello and welcome back to Blake's Den, and this is my broken Kipor KDE6700TA generator, and in this video I'm going to fix it. The problem is it's not generating any power, so let's make a start. So if you've seen the previous video of this on my channel, you will know what's wrong with it. If you haven't, go and take a look. It is bought this as a non-runner, and basically the engine didn't have enough compression to run. I have subsequently fitted a brand new engine, which I also tested on the video, and I've got a time lapse of me fitting that here. So insert time lapse now. Basically it starts, it will run for about 5 seconds and then die. What is happening is when I turn it on to crank, it keeps the starter motor engaged for quite a while. Because I don't think it's generating electricity, the generator side of the controller side is saying, oh, there's no power coming out, the engine mustn't be turning. It then kills the power to the diesel injector, so that shuts it down. So what I've done, I've manually, off camera, manually overrode the power to the diesel injector with just 12 volts, and it ran fine, but there was just no power output whatsoever. And because I've had to like disassemble this entire thing, I've clearly missed the wire off somewhere, so we'll try and find out where that is. But let me show you now what it does. So with the battery in, this is what happens. Noise alert. Okay, it didn't even start there at all. Okay, last time I did this it definitely was running, but now it doesn't seem to be. It might just be low on fuel, to be honest. I've not got a lot of fuel in the tank. Oh, I think it just wanted to fire there. Also, that'd be why. Because I've not I've not got the power going to the injector. So actually, if I put the power to the injector, it should start and run, but it won't generate any power. So there you are, starts and runs, but no power on the display. So let's tear into this. If it's stripped open again, I did find some things which are wrong. So that bottom black lead here didn't have a nut on it, so I made a note of the order they need to be. Sorry, the bottom brown, it's actually a brown cable. And then a couple of these, so these I don't think actually connect to anything, I need to check, but this one was loose and these two are quite loose as well, so I need to crimp them down a bit more. So I'm going to crimp them down with pliers. I'm going to put a little nut on there, and then, well, I guess I'll just have to fire it up without the exhaust on, which will be loud, to see whether it now generates power. So wish me luck. So a little bit of progress. Connected up those wires. When I start this now, it'll start and it'll run for about 10 seconds. Then the frequency out of range, the voltage out of range lights start flickering off and on. And then it turns itself off. So I think we're getting somewhere with this. Definitely connecting up those wires has made a difference, because I think it's now detecting that it's running, but then it's detecting something's out of range. And why it's out of range, I don't know. So I'm just going to continue looking at the wiring. I'm not going to start it now because it's just deafeningly loud, because it's got no exhaust on it at the moment. So I'm just going to continue working my way around, trying to work out what I've done and if I've missed any wires or if anything's the wrong way around, and then we'll go from there. There was no voltage output displayed on this, just displaying the battery output and the hours. But yeah, right, more investigations. So after a bit of poking and prodding, I found I had two wires off round here which go onto the back of the armature, I think it is. So put them on. That's then now given a voltage output on here, but it'll run for a few seconds and then the frequency warning will go, which means it's out of frequency. So I bodged it by putting this onto there, which operates the fuel solenoid, and ran it, and it was telling me it was working at about 62 hertz, which is not what you want. You want 50 hertz, hence the big 50 hertz sticker. Now that should be controlled by the governor, which is that thing in there. So I had to take that off the old engine and put it on this new engine. So is the engine running too quickly? Do I need to adjust that? Probably. It measures RPM of the engine from the alternator. So it doesn't measure it directly off a crank sensor, it measures it off the alternator. So if it's spinning really fast, it knows what frequency it's generating AC voltage at. So basically I think I need to tweak that until this falls back down to around 50. So I think it's got a max of 52 and a min of 47 in the parameters. So yeah, I'm going to have a poke around and see if I can get that working. At the frequency, I've just tweaked the governor actually, so this whole assembly rotates a bit. So I rotated it down, and then sure enough it was 50 hertz when I turned it back on. So I didn't need the adjustment screw I thought I was going to need. But yeah, quite lucky with that really. So yeah, some progress there, as you can see. I was getting 50 hertz on the display, still getting a 50 hertz, frequency warning, so obviously under no load. I was getting 230 volts output, so we've got power, we've got the right frequency, but this thing thinks it's the wrong frequency for some reason. So I want to see if I can override that, because at the moment I'm currently having to just jump out the fuel solenoid like that. which is not ideal because that's how you shut it off. But worst case scenario, if this has like gone a bit bonkers and gone wrong, there might be some way around bypassing this with an Arduino or Raspberry Pi or something like that where I can still control it, but I can ignore that out of frequency warning. So yeah. Well, I've been trying to log into this KP308 controller. So to do that, you press the stop and the sort of mode button at the same time, and that brings up a password. And once you get into these settings, you can then override things like the frequency shut off. But I cannot get into this using the passwords supplied in the manual from Google, just general password, you know, like 1234. It's not letting me in. So I think I'm gonna have to live with this out of frequency fault, which is not a problem, and I'll explain why now. The whole reason I got this generator was to be a backup generator for my house. So I have solar panels and I have battery storage, and the inverter has a function where it can automatically start a generator. So there is an ATS port here when I can get into it. It's behind there, basically a number of pins, and three of the important pins. One pin provides 12 volts all the time to keep the battery maintained. The other one is the earth, and the other one is what we call the start signal. So if I turn this on and I put it into, that's manual mode, the hand, put that into remote mode, and then I've got my remote cable coming into here, the inverter which powers the house will go, oh, I need more power. It'll send 12 volts down here, which will start this. Now I can tap into that 12 volts for the starter not the starter solenoid, the fuel solenoid. And the main thing is, when the generator's finished doing what it's doing, it goes, okay, stop now, and it kills the 12 volts on that line. And that's the signal to turn off. And again, if I've tapped into that, all it's going to do is kill the fuel solenoid. So I think this will work. If not, I'll either get an aftermarket controller or something, or I'll bodge something up. But yeah, that's what my plan is. But for now, I'm happy just to run it like this. So again, I'll show you what I do. Put that on there. That fires up 12 volts. Put it into manual mode. And the thing runs. So there you are. I'm going to call it a day there on this, other than some final assembly, putting panels back together. There's nothing exciting left to do. But the good news is I've swapped the engine and it works. In the next video, I'm going to get this all hooked up to the house system and the battery system. I'll show you that now, actually. Apologies for the lighting, but this is my SunSync inverter and SunSync batteries. So at the moment, if you look at that display, state of charge is 71% on the battery. It's been a bit sunny today, but what you can do is, if you go into the menus, I can get it to basically charge from the battery, from the generator even. So which setting is it in? Battery system mode. No. Auxiliary load. There we are. Generator input. So I can enable generator input, and I can say when the generator turns on, when the battery gets below a certain percent, and when it turns off. And I can also set it up so the generator will only fire up if there is a loss of grid connection and the batteries get below a certain amount. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. I've certainly learnt a lot about generators when doing this. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I respond to all of my comments, and particularly subscribe if you want to see the next video, which is getting the whole thing working properly. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.